Morning guys, it's 5:10 a.m. and today I'm going to fly Lufthansa First Class.
Finally it's happening. I'm going to take you through the entire experience from Oslo to Frankfurt, and then to Munich, and then all the way to Boston in Lufthansa First Class. I'm going to show you the entire experience from getting picked up by the plane, entering the first class terminal in both Frankfurt and Munich, and the luxurious experience on board the plane. Stay tuned. But first we're going to start in Oslo with the flight from Oslo to Frankfurt. Since this was a morning flight, there was only one person in front of us for check-in, but it didn't go as well as I hoped. Lufthansa system said that I didn't have an ESTA, even though I had it. After 30 minutes and near a heart attack, everything sorted out and we could go through the security duty-free and to the lounge. The SAS Lounge is the only Star Alliance lounge at Oslo. The lounge is divided into two areas, one for the Plus and Business passengers and one for the Gold and Diamond passengers. You can enter the Gold Lounge if you have a Star Alliance Gold. During peak hour it can be more relaxed in the Gold Lounge. There's a lot of seating option and a nice place to start your day with a breakfast. If you want to see a full review of the SAS Lounge, I will upload this in a couple of months, so please follow my channel if you want to see more of the SAS Lounge. Our flight was delayed by 30 minutes as the crew needed more rest from the previous day. But after breakfast in the lounge it was time to board the first flight of this trip. An Airbus A340 was waiting for us at the gate taking us to Frankfurt. Once we scanned our boarding pass, the machine made an error sound and we were taken aside. My heart skipped another beat for this trip, but the gate personnel only wanted to give us our first class sleeve for our boarding pass. The seats selected for this short 2-hour flight was 1A and 1C, and we were ready to take off after some de-icing. Since this is a intra-Europe business class, I didn't bother filming that much. But here is the food we got served during the flight. It was a German ham with some egg, which was a nice breakfast number 2. Once we landed in Frankfurt, we parked at a remote gate, and the cabin crew told us to deboard the plane first. At the bottom of the stairs there was a black Volkswagen waiting for us, and only for us. I could start to feel the Lufthansa First experience, and I was really excited.
Just landed in Frankfurt from Oslo. Got driven to the A terminal by a private chauffeur, and now we're going to the first class terminal. It's a 5-minute walk, I think, so let's see.
After some walking, I can finally see the first class terminal.
Okay guys, finally at the Lufthansa first class terminal. Let's go in and check it out.
Once you enter the main door, there's nothing much to see here actually. You have to take the elevator up to the second floor to get into the check-in counters. Once the elevator door opens, you are in the check-in area of the lounge. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to film the personnel here, so I didn't do it. A nice lady greeted us, and we showed our boarding pass, and we were told to go to the separate security control. No queue. After security you are in the lounge. A sliding door opens and the lounge is quiet, spacious and so big. There were not a lot of people here today, and there was a lot of seating options available. In the lounge you will also find a bar that contains everything, and if you cannot find a drink here, the drink probably don't exist. Inside the lounge there is a separate dining area, as you can see here on the right. Further down there is a cigar lounge and some sleeping areas if you want to sleep. And all the way down is the bathroom, showers and bathtub. Unfortunately we didn't have time for a bathtub as it was full. I will definitely book another Lufthansa First Class flight from Frankfurt to experience the bathtubs as well. The design of the lounge is luxurious with multiple leather sofas and nice carpets all over the lounge. There's also a relax area where you can lounge. These chairs rock back and forth if you turn them on. And lastly, there are some dedicated work areas if you need to conduct any businesses. In every Lufthansa First Class lounge, you will get a rubber duck. These rubber duckies changes during the season. Since this was my first time in the lounge, I opted for the original black one. Before we entered the restaurant, I had a glass of rosé Moet champagne, and it tasted delicious. In the restaurants there is an à la carte menu as well as plenty of buffet. I'm not gonna bother you going through everything here, but here's a clip of the selection. Since we were in Germany, I chose the schnitzel, and with the schnitzel I had a glass of champagne. Once it was time for boarding, the lounge staff told us to go downstairs. Our boarding passes got checked one last time before going through the revolving door. After the revolving door there was a lot of newly polished black cars, and we were so lucky that we got a Porsche waiting for us. It was a very cool experience driving around the apron with planes really close by. Once we got to our gate, we were escorted up an elevator to the jet bridge and boarded the plane with the rest of the passengers.
Nobody is used to that.
Since the flight from Frankfurt to Munich is only 55 minutes, I didn't bother filming anything from the cabin.
Just got off the plane in Munich and we're going to first class lounge.
The lounge in Munich is a little bit smaller but has the same design as in Frankfurt. We only had 50 minutes here before our flight to Boston. The food selection looked the same as in Frankfurt, but I didn't check the à la carte menu. The bar looked smaller, but I guess they have the same selection as in Frankfurt. We only had some champagne and got a duck from Munich as well. Here the bathtubs were available, but since we had a such short connection we didn't try it out. Maybe next time. Before boarding our flight we had to go through passport control, which of course was inside the lounge. Then a few minutes walking and we were able to board the Airbus A340 flight to Boston. The flight path today will take us over the Atlantic Ocean and it's at 3,851 miles. Lufthansa has 5 Airbus A340-600s in operation. These planes were actually retired during the pandemic, but Lufthansa needed to take them back in mid-March. That's because the airline has fewer first-class equipped aircrafts than it wants. The cabin is divided into 4 classes with 290 seats in total. In economy there are 189 seats, premium economy has 28 seats, business class has 55 seats, and in first class they have 8 seats. I selected seat 1K for this trip. Walking down the bridge I could feel the excitement in my body, and finally it was time to enter the first class cabin. The space is enormous. I had a bulkhead seat, but the space looked similar on the other seats as well. In front of the first class cabin there's even a bar. Once sitting down I would offer a glass of champagne. The champagne was a 2006 Blanc des Millionnaires from Charles Heidsieck, which tasted lovely. Before takeoff, the crew handed out the menus for today and asked around the cabin what you wanted for your main course. Going through the drink menu, there was a champagne from Charles Heidsieck. For the white wine, there was 2 German ones, one from Italia and one from South Africa. The red one was a French one from the US, one from Spain and one from Chile. They also had dessert wine, but I didn't ask what it was. At last they had a special rum and a lot of spirits to select from. Once boarding was completed, we pushed back and were ready for takeoff. Time for a seat tour. The legroom was enormous and I didn't even reach the stool in front of me. The stool in front of me was electric, so I could rest my legs there. I'm 180 centimeters tall, or 5'11" for reference. Inside the stool there is a storage compartment where you can store your amenity kit, blankets or any other things you might have with you. Over the TV there is a hanger, but you can also give your clothes that needs to be hanged to the cabin crew and they will hang it up for you in another closet. Underneath right to the TV there is a table. This you pull up. Oh, it's a button. The table is steady and slides all the way back and forth, so you can easily walk out of your seat while eating. Putting it back, you simply lift it up and push it down. Further towards you, there's a small table for your glasses when you don't have the table up, and underneath the small table is a button to quickly set your chair to its original position. Underneath there are some magazines holder where you can put your menus, and in your chair there are 2 USB-A ports and a universal power outlet. On your right hand side there are 2 other storage compartments. One contains the provided headset, BOS QC15, which provide excellent noise cancelling during the flight. And the other one is empty for your stuff. All the way in the back there is a water bottle holder. Inside the mattresses there is a reading lamp, and I will show you this in a second. The remote for the IFE is down in your armrest. There is no screen in the IFE remote, and you need to use this control to control your IFE if you don't have super long arms, but I don't even think the screen is touchable. There is also some quick buttons for light, stop, volume and a call button to the cabin crew. On the left side there is another control panel. This controls the chair. In front of you have some quick predefined control, and underneath the cover you can control the chair as you want. One button also controls the stool back and forth. The Lufthansa seats are by default kind of open, but you have a button you can push to get more privacy. And here is the reading light, nothing fancy, with a button on and off. And finally, in this cabin there is no individual air nozzles. When flying first, Lufthansa offers pyjamas and slippers, so let's go to the bathroom and check it out. pyjamas are made of cotton and have a loose fit and come with comfortable slippers. It has nice colors and much better to sit in than regular pants. While we're in the bathroom, I will show you around here as well. The first class bathroom is not the biggest bathroom as they have on the Singapore Airlines A380, Emirates or Etihad, but it is clean and nice. There are some amenities here as well, such as face mist and mouthwash. You can lower the seat so you get a cushion you can sit on while changing. And there's a window here as well if you want to have some sunlight in. The face mist is from Evian and it's really nice to have during a long flight. After putting on pyjamas, it was time to look into the amenity kit. The amenity kit is shaped like a box and contains everything you need for this trip. Starting with a comb, a decent toothbrush, a fresh mint, some earplugs, some toothpaste and some La Prairie amenities, a shoe iron, some covers for the headphones, socks, eye mask, and a pouch to put something in. You also get the Evian face mist. And then you get a pillow, which I think you should wrap your clock around. I'm not sure actually, but I think it was that. After changing and going through the amenity kit, it was time for dinner. The crew started to make the table with a white cloth, salt and pepper grinder, and the cutlery. Starting with the first food serving was a pre-appetizer, which was a prawn with some garlic sauce. This was actually not on the menu, but it tasted really good. First appetizer was caviar. I love caviar and this tasted really good. There was supposed to be a soup after the caviar, but my girlfriend saw in the alley that they spilled the soup and hence it was nothing for us. We didn't get any explanation or got told that there was no soup. As a second appetizer we got another prawn and seafood. This was not on the menu, so I'm not sure what it was. I'm not sure if this was a substitute for the soup we didn't get, but it tasted good. For the main we could choose between tenderloin beef, roasted skrei, saddle of lamb or spaghetti with canterels. I chose the beef tenderloin, and my god, this was a good steak at 40,000 feet. For dessert I had white peach with champagne savoine and pistachio ice cream. I'm not sure if I spelled that correct. Probably not. To top it all off, I chose a plate of cheese, and I was crushed after this meal. So it was a perfect timing to call the crew and make my bed. The bed is comfortable and so spacious. There's no problem laying on your back, side or stomach. My shoulder didn't touch any side of the bed, which they sometimes do in some business class seats. I did get some sleep and was ready for my second meal of this trip before landing in Boston. Starting with some Arabic meze, and I had some sliders as well, which was really good, and some fruit to top it off. And before landing we all got our Easter bunny, because it was Easter when we were traveling. Nice touch from Lufthansa. I didn't use my phone that much during this flight, but Lufthansa offered a free Wi-Fi voucher and the speed was decent. Almost 10 megabit download and 1 megabit upload in speed. As we were landing, I will try to summarize this experience. This was my first time flying Lufthansa First class. I have flown in Singapore and Thai First before, and on the ground Lufthansa really knows their things. Getting picked up by the plane, driven to the plane, and in the first class terminal was a unique experience. The hard product in the cabin is not the best, but is absolutely up there. The service was outstanding, even though the crew was a little bit inexperienced. They told me that it was the first time crewing in first class for a long time, and some even had their first time. The crew was nice, polite, and we got everything we asked for. I think a more experienced crew also would have been even more service-minded. Not that I'm complaining. This trip was amazing, and I would definitely try this again, but next time in the 747.
Well, this was Lufthansa First Class. It was an amazing trip. I highly recommend everyone trying this trip once. I booked this through Eurobonus, which is a SAS award program. It costed 175,000 Eurobonus points, but it was worth the trip. And we were so lucky that our hotel got the airport view, so we can see the airport while sleeping.